Good morning and welcome to MacWorld. We've got a lot of great stuff for you today. So I want to start off with a retail update, tell you how we did in Apple retail stores. You know, we've got 135 Apple retail stores now, and these are just the best place to buy not only a Mac and an iPod, but one of the best buying experiences for any product in the world. And I am really pleased to announce that last quarter we had 26 million visitors during the holiday quarter in our retail stores. I mean, think about it. This is more people than live in any state in our union but California. You know, if you're in New Hampshire, it's no big deal, but if you live in New York, I mean, everybody in New York visited an Apple store by number, you know, it's incredible. So that was pretty amazing. What was also amazing was that our retail stores had their first billion-dollar quarter. Over $1 billion of revenues last quarter, so really fantastic. And I want to congratulate them all. They worked so hard, and they did a really terrific job. Now, we've got a great Chief Financial Officer, Peter Oppenheimer, and Peter told me that if I wanted to release this figure, I also had to release the overall sales for Apple because he didn't want anybody making the wrong assumptions and getting the wrong data for the quarter. So we're going to do something we've never done before here at MacWorld. I get to tell you what our revenues were for last quarter. It was Apple's, a record for Apple, the highest revenues we've ever had in a quarter. Last quarter. This is one for the record books. So there's a lot for these gingerbread men to be dancing about. Everybody's pretty happy. Our efforts in music. We went into the holiday quarter with the best lineup of music players on the planet. The new iPod Nano and the 5th generation iPod. These are the best music players in the world, and of course the 5th generation iPod also plays video, music videos, and now television shows as well. And we sold 4.5 million iPods a year ago in the holiday quarter 2004. And what a lot of folks have been asking us and speculating on, quarter, we sold 14 million iPods. Year 2005, 32 million iPods. Okay. Now, I'd like to give you an update on iTunes. We have sold on iTunes, we've crossed over 850 million songs. We are well on our way to hitting that billion song mark in the next few months. And we are selling songs at the rate now of 3 million per day. We've seen a really nice growth in iTunes sales. And that is over 1 billion songs a year run rate. Well over. So we've seen some really great growth throughout the last year in iTunes as well. And our market share continues to be very strong, 83%. Yeah, I'm showing off some new keynote features here too. Couldn't help myself. So, we're really, really happy. Our television. Only about 90 days ago, I'm very pleased to report that since we launched on October 12th, we have sold over 8 million videos. And we are really happy with this. Now last week, for the first time, we added some sports. And in partnership with ABC and ESPN, we put up the bowl games. And it was really fantastic. Here's a little sampling.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Pasadena, California, site of the 2006 Rose Bowl game presented by Citi. I'm Keith Jackson, and in the unprecedented partnership between ABC Sports and Apple iTunes, you're about to see a bowl blast. The 15-minute condensed version of the national championship game between the top-ranked USC Trojans and the number 2 Texas Longhorns. All the key moments from this contest right at your fingertips in the iTunes video store. And it's available for all 4 BC. This special ABC Sports presentation.
So, ABC and ESPN they went to #1. The Rose Bowl is the #1 video now on iTunes, so they've been extremely popular. And today, we're putting up some other great new content from Saturday Night Live. This is...
And now, another episode of Samurai Delicatessen.
All the great stuff here, all the great stuff, the best of stuff, and all the great skits that you remember, you're going to be able to buy on iTunes starting today. This great Saturday Night Live content on iTunes. We're also introducing a new accessory for your iPod today, which is a remote control that's also an FM tuner. And it's a little thing that clips on your clothing anywhere you'd like, is a great remote control, but also includes an FM tuner. And so you can plug this into your Nano, you can plug this in to your 5th generation iPod, and when you do, a radio menu item will show up in the top menu. And when you select it, boom, you get screens like this. You can set your presets. It's really nice. And it's going to be priced at $49, and it goes on sale today. And last, I want to give you an update on Chrysler. For those of you that missed it at the Detroit Auto Show, Chrysler is the first of the big 3 American auto companies to announce major iPod integration support for their cars this year. Over 3 million Chrysler, Dodge, and Jeep models are going to offer optional iPod integration this year. And when you add that to all the other cars that are doing the same thing, in 2006, over 40% of the cars sold in the U.S. will offer iPod integration. I think that's phenomenal. Over 40%. So that's an update on what we're doing in music. And the last thing I've got is a new ad I wanted to show you, a new iPod ad. You know, in our October event, we were so lucky to have Wynton Marsalis come and play for us. And he really blew us all away. And after that, we asked ourselves, wouldn't it be great to do an ad? I'd like to premiere it for you right now. So let's go ahead and run it. that's what we're up to in music. 14 million iPods. But it's MacWorld. So we're going to spend the rest of the day talking about the Mac. Now, I'm going to start off with a very important application we introduced a few months ago called Aperture. Aperture is for digital photographers. We see Aperture as being the tool for digital photographers in the same way that Final Cut Pro is for digital filmmakers. And it's an incredible tool designed hand in hand with digital photographers for digital photographers. When we launched the product, we created a video for it, and I'd like to just show you some excerpts from that video now to give you a feel for the product. So let's go ahead and run that.
In the beginning, one of the reservations I had with digital was the capture mode, slow as molasses, that delay, they fixed that. The size of the files, they fixed that. And then for me, the longest period stretch now has been the software for post-production. I think Aperture is a quantum leap in the direction of where we all thought we could be. You know, initially I thought maybe the application was designed strictly for professional photographers. While it may have been, it is user-friendly enough that I think the amateur is going to love this program and what it will do for them. When I used to show my proofs, it was to just hand them off to the client and they would take them home and then bring them back later. Now with Aperture, what I could do is set up the two 30-inch screens and they can sit and deal with the proofs and lay it out for an album or a design, because I would lay them out on a coffee table and I would look at them and move them around and say, okay, maybe these two work well together. The feature that Aperture has is that you can lay this out on the screen like if it were an album already. It was incredible. I've never seen anything do that before. Yes, finally, someone thought the way I'm thinking about post-production.
What amazed me about Aperture is, first of all, I can edit now, and I'll be excited to do it because it's faster. I can loop things. I can stack them, I can put them in categories. It just blew me away. It really did. I mean, Aperture just blew me away.
I can bring it in, pick my selects, organize them in any way. I can keyword them. I can make a contact sheet. Quickly touch of a button and it's on the web. It just runs it from beginning to end flawlessly.
I like to shoot in bursts instead of like rapid little 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pictures. You just take a thumbnail, put them in different order, and all of a sudden they're reordered in the stack. On average, a college football game would be maybe 1,000 images. The bad news is raw files take so long to work with, and now you can modify it, you can do anything you want with it, and it's instantaneous. It's unbelievable. I suspect that I'm going to stop shooting JPEGs. I can take a picture and do a white balance on it, have the original thing side by side, change some color saturation, and then choose the one that has the adjustments that look the best. And that's really the beauty of all this. I mean, it's not just replicating something that you've done for years on a light table. It's the fact that you're replicating what you've done on the light table and moved it into the 22nd century. Stanley Kubrick would be jealous.
So, we think this is going to be a really important product, and if you haven't seen it, I'd suggest you check it out. Another thing I now want to talk about is widgets. When we introduced macOS 10 Tiger this last spring, we introduced the concept of widgets, and it's been growing ever since. As a matter of fact, ones that third parties have created, there are now over 1,500 widgets available for OS 10 Tiger. We decided, boy, we better do a few more of our own here to contribute to that pool. So we've got a few more new widgets that we're rolling out today. A new Google widget, so you don't even have to go to Safari. You can just type this in dashboard, and boom, brings up Safari and finds your results. We've got a new front end to address book. We've got a new widget just in time for the ski season here to give you snow conditions, your favorite ski place. We've got a new calendar widget. We've got white pages, so in addition to yellow pages for looking up businesses, you can look up people in white pages. And we've worked with ESPN. We have some new sports widgets that give you scores as well as news for a variety of different sports. You know, here's basketball and baseball and football, and there's golf and tennis and all these other things. So how do you get these widgets? Well, we've got a new release of macOS 10 Tiger, an update that's going out today, free update, 10.4.4. You can download it today and you'll get all these new widgets. Yeah. Now, I'd like to talk about iLife. You know, Apple pioneered writing applications specifically for our emerging digital lifestyles. We were talking about this years before anyone else, about how all your photographs were going to be on your computer, how all your music was going to be on your computer, how all your digital movies were going to be on your computer. And we could write these great applications that could make that so much richer and allow us to thousands of digital photographs we were going to have, etc. And we brought that together into a suite called iLife a few years ago, and it's been miles ahead of anything you can get on the PC. Well, today we're introducing the next revision of iLife, iLife 06, and it's a giant new release. It's going to propel us even further ahead of anything else in the world. So, iLife 06. Now, iLife, as you know, is comprised of iPhoto, iMovie, iDVD, GarageBand, and iTunes. So let's start in with iPhoto. iPhoto. First of all, in this release, it is incredibly fast. We've spent a lot of attention on performance, and you're going to love it. It just flies on this release. And the prior release of iPhoto, the limit was 25,000 photos. The new limit, up to 250,000 photos. That is 1,000 photos a month. For 20 years, you don't even get to 250,000 photos. And it just is beautiful, and it scrolls like butter. So, up to 250,000 photos. Scrolls like butter. Wait a minute. Hot knife through butter. Up to 250,000 photos. Next, full screen editing. This is really nice. It allows you to use these gorgeous displays we have on our computers to their fullest for you to edit and select your photos. So you can see your photos full screen. You can get your controls at the bottom here. You can get your slider view of all your photos at the top. You can bring up things to adjust your photos, all using the full screen. And these things just disappear when you don't need them. In addition, you can use the full screen for doing compares. You can compare up to 8 photos at once and select your favorites. It's really nice. So full screen editing. We think this is going to be pretty big. Next up, one-click effects. This is great. We have a panel now, the effects panel, which has 8 of the most popular effects on it, plus one click in the middle to get back to the original. You can click on these effects more than once to double or triple the effect if you want to. And so you can have something, let's say in full screen mode, bring up the effects panel and say, I want to make this black and white or sepia. I want to take out some color and make it an antique effect. And you can, of course, combine these things, blur the edges, and bring a vignette in. And you can do this in a few seconds. And again, just hit the center button, boom, get back to the original. One-click effects. All new cards, calendars, and dramatically better books. As you know, we've had the ability to create books. We have made that much, much better. We have all new printing, much higher quality. I think you're going to love it. And we still have hardcover books, softcover books, but the quality is dramatically better. So fantastic books now. And we've added calendars, so you can make your own calendars like this with all your own photos in them. By dragging and dropping or just having it autofill with your albums. You can drag photos onto dates. You can make comments and notes. It's pretty wonderful. And we've got some great templates for them as well. Look at these. They're really nice. And we've added cards. A lot of requests for this. And so you can make cards super easy, just like this. Order them online. We have postcards as well. And so literally you can make something like this in, a minute or two. Push a button, order them online, have them arrive at your door. And something incredibly new, photo casting. This is podcasting for photos. Now, what is this? We want to all share our photos. And increasingly, we'd like to share them over the internet. Wouldn't it be great if there was a way to do that where every time I updated an album full of photos, updated as well? That's what photo casting is. And the way it works is you just go into iPhoto and you go to the source list here, and you pick an album that you want to photo cast, let's say these two, and you push a button. You say, I want to photo cast these albums. And it puts that little symbol next to them, and it automatically in the background uploads all those photos to .mac. You can even say, I want a password on these things so not everyone can subscribe to them if you'd like. And then someone can subscribe to this photocast. And when they do, they get a special album in their source list which says this is a subscribed album. And so what happens is that I've got some photos and I drop them in to an album that I photocast. They are automatically in the background, uploaded to .mac, all the changes. They can sample .mac hourly, daily, weekly, or manually. Whenever there's a change, those changes will get downloaded right into their anything they want. They can make cards out of them, they can set their desktop pictures with them. And so imagine this. I've got pictures of my kids, maybe my parents, and like magic, they show up on the desktop screen of my parents' computer. They can see their grandkids. It's like magic. If you take away the machinery, it's just like magic. It's amazing. Now, you must be a .mac member to publish, but we use industry standards, RSS, and so anyone can subscribe. You don't even need a Mac. You can use any RSS reader to subscribe. So, these are the... Now. All right.